People, Deluded, good morning to you. And I know us Arsenal fans, if you support Arsenal, that is, welcome to the Q&A show. It's Friday and that, but if you support Arsenal, win the Europa League final, same as if you support Chelsea. You're bullish if you're a Spurs or Liverpool fan in regards to the Champions League as well. So it's been a decent week and feeling good on this Friday. But let's crack on, man. Let's not waste any more unnecessary time waffling on about irrelevant things. Lucas the Gooners asked, always in the comments, big up yourself, Lucas. Which players will you sell this summer and which players will you want to come into the club? To be fair, Lucas, I've answered the selling players in a recent vid. I must admit, that question does get asked a lot. That and who would I sign? I do quite find them annoying. I'm not saying you're being annoying, of course, but say the same things. Of course, in terms of depth purposes, bring back Benacia. I'm a big fan of Brandt. I want a centre-half and I want a left-back. And to be fair with you, the way Guy has played over the two legs against Valencia, we've all known about him. Surely Unai Emery, if he hasn't already, has put him on the shortlist. Or maybe an honest, light-hearted conversation has been said between Unai Emery and the people behind the scenes at Arsenal about signing him. Because I think he's a decent left-back, gets forward, puts decent balls in, he's quite quick. Yeah, he's a fellow countryman, so get Unai Emery, or I assume he will. But yeah, my guy, that's all I got to say on that. Alf Topper, another consistent commenter. DG, do you think Qatar will look at buying an English club given the value of teams in the Premier League in current form of PSG? Well, they've got the money, my guy. I'd say why not? If they want to buy someone, come buy Arsenal. They could even buy some other clubs in and amongst the Prem, but I don't know, my guy. I'm not one of their advisors, or I don't have a clue. Probably they're always eyeing up business opportunities and things like that. But yeah, man, maybe. Don't know, to be fair, my guy. Alvin's asked, at what age did you realise it was too late to become a professional? I've always known, to be honest, from year 7 and 9, but I'd say it really sunk in probably year 8, year 9, like wherever old you are in year 8, year 9, because I thought to myself, I just deeped on there, like some people in academies at 7, 8 years of age. I don't have no uncle, dad, or whatever who can get me into these things, and we're already playing catch up. I'm in year 9, 2 years away. Well, that's under 14s, 2 years away from scholarship. So it was a myth, man. Yeah, man. So year 8, year 9, kind of accepted that uncomfortable truth. I wanted to do the semi-pro thing, but then I realised football is a lot of politics, and obviously when you leave school, I had to get a job in that. As well as studying, because money makes the world go around, so there weren't enough time for football beyond five-a-side and that, my guy. So yeah, Yold Alarms asked, Stan Kroenke is approaching an old age, so what would happen to the ownership of Arsenal if he was to pass away, touch wood? Obviously, he's not saying he wants him to pass away, people. He's just saying what would happen in terms of, yeah. I'm sure a man like Stan Kroenke, not just Arsenal, but all his business interests, he's written up a will and his advisors will take care of the necessary. I'd be inclined to believe his son, is it Josh Kroenke, would inherit Arsenal, or another sibling of his would, or whatnot, if he was to die tomorrow, touch wood, because we don't advocate them sort of things. So that's the best way I could answer that question. Yeah, Yold Alarm. Jamal's asked, forgive me if I said your name already, what in your opinion would be the optimal team selection and formation going into the last stages of the season? Probably 5 at the back, just because you can play your 2 strikers and things like that. So any position with 5 at the back, man. To be fair, the league's done, my guy. You did ask this question 4 days ago, so it's not your fault. But by the time I'm making this, the league's done. There's a game against Burnley. I'd love to see Amici and the young G's play in that, give them a little chance at Turf Moor, experience a tough game away from home, because we're not getting top 4. It's irrelevant unless we win like 6-0 and Spurs lose by a couple. It can't happen. It's over. All our hopes are in Europa League. So I'd say at least for that final, at this moment in time, I'd probably go 5 at the back, 3 centre-halves. So yeah. Antonio Bank has asked, big up yourself, another consistent commenter. What are your thoughts on Tyler Roberts of Leeds? I like him a lot. He's a decent striker. Not really been keeping an eye on his progress this season, but forgive me if I'm wrong. He's made his Welsh debut, or he's been in that squad. Decent player, man. It's down to him how good he wants to be. So it's up to him. And you've also said, would you keep an eye on Memory Demrable of Swallow and Jules Condé of Bordeaux? They look very promising in my opinion. Well, the Sassuolo done, I can do more research, but Jules, I like Jules of Bordeaux a lot. He's still developing. We'll see how it goes, man. I like his cane rolls as well. So yeah, Big up yourself, Antonio. What other questions? Sohab, forgive me if I said your name incorrectly. You've asked if you could pick any two players from any Premier League team to play for us, one in the top six and one in the bottom. Who would they be? Off the top of my head, if you said one top six, Van Dijk, and then bottom six, well, outside the top six, not bottom six, it would probably be Ruben Neves. Then you've got Telemans, Richarlison, Dijené, or Dijené, I can never say his name. So yeah, man. You've also asked me for my most improved player this season. I should have really have made a note of that. I don't know if you're talking about Arsenal or not. In regards to Arsenal, it'd be a tough one. I'd probably say on the basis of he's had his most goal scoring season, it's Iwobi. I know he's only scored 5 goals, but probably Iwobi on that basis. But I liked how Holding was developing, and until sadly his injury happened. So probably them. I feel Bellerin, the same logic goes for him. So probably them lot there, man. To be fair with you. So yeah. What else have we got? Where have I lost myself? I've lost myself, people. Yeah. Here we go. No. Jay Halls has asked, is it alarming that Arsenal aren't linked with more defenders? It's alarming that their defenders ain't been brought into this club and we still keep signing centre-halves, and Socrates was decent, but we need to really fix up the defence. That's what's concerning. BM's asked, realistically, how many years does Emre need to turn this around? Probably anything from 2 to 4 years, depending on how quickly he can implement what he wants to do, get players in, get players out, and how quickly he's backed from those in respective positions above him, my guy. How long is a piece of string? Mr. K-Tubes is asked, Tagliafico and Bissaka won't be leaving. That being said, even though it's unrealistic, shall we go for Alaba? Probably his age and his price range wouldn't make it appealing to Arsenal beyond the fact that he's a quality player, my guy. So I'm inclined to say no in that regards. Diabolical, this guy, I like your username, man. Good name, man. You've asked, do Saka and Michi Balogun need loans next season? You could always advocate a loan spell. I think Balogun needs to step up into the 23s next season before a loan spell. But you could always make a case for all 3 of them or 4 of them, ever many names you said, needing to go out and play football. You've actually said John Jules as well. Saka, I think Saka can stay in and amongst the team for at least next season. And Michi the same. I'd like to see them playing first team football of some degree. Balogun step up into the 23s, like I said. John Jules the same. You could make a case for going on loan for John Jules and all of these players because 23 football isn't going to save them. But I feel the ones in dire need that can't really afford to be playing 23 football is probably the Joe Willocks, the Eddie Nketiahs. Reece Nelson's not going to play it next season, but the Reeses, the Emil Smith-Rowes, and all of these sort of players. I think Saka and Amici that have been banging 23s, and I want them to step up as quickly as possible. But I do think they're at least a season or so away from a loan. But in regards to Saka and Amici especially, I'd like to see them given chances. And John Jules, to be fair with you. But it is what it is, man. It's a bit disappointed that young players haven't got as much of a chance as I thought this season. But it's been a tough one. Khalid's asked, would Mislintat have pre-planned our upcoming window? Not a clue, my guy, not a clue. Shizzle's asked, if Liverpool win the Champions League and City win the league, whose season's been better? Well, City can take congratulations from their team, but I'd probably say Liverpool. At the end of the day, they finished second. Their points tally and how they've been in the league, and another year it wins the league. They're just coming against a great City team. So to come second, obviously no one wants to come second, but to come second, knowing you've had a terrific season like that, you've done your thing, and you're in a back-to-back Champions League final, and based on what you said, win it. So that's a better season for me anyways, biased aside, because obviously Liverpool are rivals. I believe that. I believe even if Liverpool end up trophyless, it's been a season of promise and to build upon. Like I said, back-to-back Champions League final. Points tally, they've only lost once this season. Forgive me if I'm wrong. In fact, I probably am wrong, but you get the point. They've been playing superbly, man, and yeah, it's a season of promise from Liverpool regardless, in my opinion. But that's it. Vitus has asked, could you address and give your thoughts on the potential transfer budget this window? I've already kind of offered my thoughts on that, so sorry my guy, but I'm not going to expand on that. It's a bit repetitive. Ilias has asked, do you think Arsenal should be looking at moving Steve Boldon because we still defend like a bunch of kids? Who do you think should replace him and if Arsenal should move him on? Now, again, you don't know how much or how little Steve Bold has to do with actual defensive work historically under Wenger, and now, of course, a former defender, someone that's allegedly a defensive coach. People are going to ask questions. But if Unai Emery, for instance, says, this is my job, this is what I'm doing, you can either help me or whatnot, how much freedom can that man have? So I think we need to be a bit sensible, because we're not at the training ground. We don't know what he does or what he doesn't do, and it's easy when things aren't going right to kind of look at these guys and ask questions. I don't know what he does and doesn't do, so I'm not going to speculate on who should replace him, and I think he's cool in the job he's at, so that's a decision for the club. JM's asked, do you think Kroenke will ever invest in this club? He's a businessman, so I'd be inclined to believe no, because he's invested none of his actual money into this club and he's just pumping more profit for him. So I would probably say no. Joker Alarms has asked, do you feel like as much as the players are to blame at Arsenal, the manager knew what he got himself into, gloating about how he had a record of all the players as well as financial constraints he was in? Having been criticised at PSG for his pragmatic approach and seeing glimpses at Arsenal, will there be an uproar or divide within the fans if Emery persists with it come next season with his ideal signings? Keep up the grind. Big up yourself, Joker. And you said some good stuff. I feel Emery, he's a good manager. I support him. He probably needs to be a bit braver in his tactics. I like that he thinks about the opposition, but possibly thinking about the opposition too much. It bangs in our big games at times when we've even won 4 or 5 or whatever against the smaller teams. If anyone that's been watching that game, it hasn't quite been that in that we've blitzed them 4 goals. It's been a bit of a different story. So maybe he does need to take the handbrakes off. And I do think the players are the majority to blame, but you've got to hold everybody accountable. Unai Emery's my guy. I back him. I think he's done very well with all the stuff that's happened this season. But he did know what role he's getting into. You know you're not going to have peas for this role. Possibly, I would say the players that are actually decent, he's not getting the best out of them per se, or he's taking a while to kind of understand them and that. So there's always truths, man. I feel people are reluctant to ask fair questions of Unai Emery purely because we've got a new manager and some people wanted a new manager that much. So yeah, man, I think that's the best way to answer that one, my guy. Who else have we got? We've answered that. N-Stars asked, Liverpool have the likes of Joe Gomez and Alexander-Arnold. How does someone like Medley for us compare? I don't watch the 23s. I think we are missing a trick should he be a left-sided centre-half. I think he's decent on the ball. I think he's got a lot to learn defensively. Joe Gomez at his level was a bracket above his. Trent Arnold was way more consistent as well. So I don't really think it's an identical thingy to make. You've also got, will Edu deal with transfers, and do you think it could be a good signing going forward? Yes, he will, and yes, I do, my guy. Alvin's asked, what's your team of the Emirates era based on their careers at the Emirates Stadium? That's a tough one, man. You put me on the spot. I don't think I can really answer that one, my guy. Top of my head, Chesney in goal. Koscielny centre-half. Monreal left back. Sagna right back. Koscielny centre-half. You know what? I can't think of anyone. So Koscielny and Mertesacker centre-half. Midfielders, three in midfield, I'm going with Santi Cazorla, Cesc Fabregas, Nasri in the 10. On the left, I'm going with Alexis Sanchez. On the right, I'm going with Arshavin. Up front, I'm probably going to go with Van Persie, you know, to be fair with you. Van Persie in his prime, people. Aubameyang and Lacazette probably could slide in, but that's the team off the top of my head. Good question. Someone's asked, Thomas has asked, are you going to try and go to more games next season? We need people like you there. Bro, I go to what I can. I'm not rich. If I can, if it's financially possible, I will. If you want to pay for man, I'll go every week, like I say when I get these questions, my dude. So yeah. Somebody's asked, could Santi Cazorla have done a job for us this year? His stats are awesome. He's played 30 plus games for Villarreal. Who knows? But I think that's a bit of a wishful way to look at it, my dude. So yeah, there's that. Christian Andres asked, when times are tough, how do you find the motivation to keep going and posting videos? Because the world simply keeps spinning, my guy, man. It sounds harsh, but the world don't give a crap about my feelings. The world don't care if someone in my family died. The world don't care if I've got a mad illness. someone's always got it worse, and the world keeps spinning. Obviously, I get times where I think, F it, is it worth it, and all of these sort of things. But you just gotta keep pushing, my dude, man. You just, what can you say? You just, either you're gonna do it or not, man. And it's what I signed up to. Plenty of times I don't want to make videos. I just want to chill off, or I'm tired, or I'm not feeling myself. But for better or worse, I signed up to this stuff, man. And I've got a stubbornness in me, I believe, which can't allow me to stop, which doesn't allow me to stop. Good question, man. Michael Smith, big up yourself, DG Nation. You've asked, if Chelsea win the Europa League and finish third in the league, doesn't that mean that they get 2 UEFA spots, or does that mean there'll be 5 English clubs in the UEFA Champions League? I'm not too sure, my guy. I swear, I don't know. I don't know how this thing works. I just know that if we win it, if Chelsea win it, we're not in the champs. If we win it, I'm sure fourth get zanged, fourth are unlucky in the Prem. I'm not too sure about the finishing third and all of that business, my dude. I really don't know. It's a madness. So if someone that actually has the right answer to that, if they could comment in the questions in the comment section, I'd be I'd appreciate that a lot. So yeah, let's crack on. Papayas asked, big up yourself, DG. If you could only sign one centre mid next season, what type of player would it be? I mean, in terms of traits. It's a difficult one, because I feel we need a tigerish midfielder like Torreira. I feel we need someone that does what Xhaka tries to do, receiving it off the centre half, but to a better standard. Torreira can kind of do that, and I think he can show us more in that, and he's tigerish. So if we can find someone that's got a bit of both, like Torreira, then cool. But I would like a combative midfielder, someone that covers a lot of space, someone that helps out his fullback, someone that's a bit robust and everything's there, and a bit rough, positively rough around the edges. That would be it. Justice has asked, are we the only club in the top 6 that consistently gets slapped by 3 goals or more away from home against oppositions? The facts were going to tell you what you need to be told, my guy. I don't know what I can tell you past that. So yeah, you've answered your own question. You've also asked, I believe, what needs to change at our club in order to move forward and compete for major honours? Unai Emery needs to be backed. Players need to be moved on. Good players need to be brought in. And it's that simple. And the mentality has to come from the top. It's really that simple. Prospers asks, how much would you need to part ways with Guendouzi? Right now, 40 million or something. Because, I'm not here to say he can be world class, be this, be that. I just feel there's many players I will move on before I move on that young G. I believe eventually he can get a cap for France. And I think he can be a decent, regular first teamer for Arsenal. I'm not here to talk about his level. I don't care for people who want to say he's overrated and can be world class and this and that. I just know he can be a competent and consistent player. 2 massively underrated traits in football. And I want that. DJ's asked, what's your thoughts on Edu and Perez coming back to the club, into the club? Could the Invincibles' magic touch work? I'm not sure, my guy. It's nice to see former Arsenal players brought into these positions, but no one man can change anything. Jules asked, who would have had a better season if Spurs lose the UEFA Champions League and we win Europa? It'd be disappointing for both, to be fair with you. If we win the Europa League, we're in the Champions League, yes, but domestically we finish 5th. If Spurs finish ahead of us, which they will, and you're asking me to look at it like that, Spurs have been poor in the league at many points, and we've managed to be worse. So it depends on how you want to quantify it. On the basis of we've got a trophy and we've both entered the same competition via different means, I don't know what answer you'd want to come up with, but that's a good question. But I can't answer it, my guy, really. Alex George has asked, how long do you think it will take Arsenal to reach the level of Man City and Liverpool? However long it takes for the guys at the top to want to do that, however long it takes to back Unai Emery or whatever manager consistently. Ghost has asked, is Mane better than Sterling? Yes, he probably is, but Sterling is my guy. Julius Halls asks, do you think Yardim could be on our next manager/coaching shortlist? Why not? But do the club want him? And finally, we've got, who's that? David James. You're a great believer in our academy players, but I don't think we have top talents coming through our ranks. Why do you have so much faith in these players? I have faith in our academy in general. Nobody here there's very rarely you lot hear me say this player can do that and that player can do this. I'll always support my young players, whether they can develop here or achieve elsewhere. A club, whatever club, should promote young players, especially a club like Arsenal. You've never heard me gas up any young players. I don't know how frequently or how little you watch our academy players, but we've got some decent players. I am a great believer in our academy in general. I do think there's a couple that can progress. You never know how good players are until you give them a chance. You want players that can identify with the club. Ultimately, if 1-2 players can progress, then yeah. Not everybody has to be a top talent to make it at a club. People always are going to look for the Amichis and the Sakas and things like that, and that's great. But there's probably a player at Arsenal that everybody, myself included, is sleeping on. A competent right back or a calm centre half. Not everybody has to be a top star to come through it. I'll always support my young players. I always want young players to come through, and I won't apologise for such. I don't feel I'm missing any questions out, and if I am, forgive me, my guys. But you've probably either asked the same question or it's not really relevant to a degree. Or what Ross has asked, why are Spurs so good? You'd have to ask Pochettino that one. I don't feel I'm missing anyone else out. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. People, deluded, I'm out.